Roll here is I got to ask you what your for the notes team what your horses did today.
Today each beautiful gift. Galloped a mile and 3/8. Looked beautiful, very comfortable on the track. Schooled in the paddock yesterday, was absolutely perfect. So she'll walk tomorrow, race day, and be ready for the Black Eyed Susan. And then, Medina went out first, and he galloped a mile and a half. Schooled yesterday in the paddock. Also, everything we wanted to see, we saw. He went through the paddock well. We won't have to do that again. Concert tour, galloped a mile and a half, and again schooled yesterday, and looked awesome on the track.
Did you do the paddock schooling during the afternoon yesterday?
No, in the morning.
Still in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you guys decided if you're going to saddle in the paddock or out on the
Our normal deal, we saddle in the paddock.
in the paddock?
Yeah.
Jimmy,
We have for years.
You've been with Concert Tour when he went to Oakland for the Rebel, when he went back for the Arkansas Derby. Just sort of talk about his training since the Arkansas Derby. Obviously, Bob wasn't satisfied with it that he didn't run, or he wasn't satisfied with the third, that he didn't run him in the Kentucky Derby. But what have you seen in the horse in the intervening weeks, and specifically?
Well, we've seen what we expected to see. You know, it's awful hard on horses coming back to back and racing, and with shipping involved. So he was a little on the light side after the Arkansas Derby. Bob opted to, and Gary West, they opted to pass on the Derby and run a fresh horse in the Preakness. So we've basically seen everything you'd want to see. No hiccups at all. His coat beautiful, eating well. He should be ready for Saturday.
When you look back on his Arkansas Derby, did you see anything from that race, any missteps or anything?
Well, we broke on top. We should have just went. You know, we didn't want to get caught in some kind of speed duel or something. But you know, a lot of times when the gates open, you got to throw instructions out the window and play the brake. And you know, that's probably the only thing I was disappointed in. But that's the way it goes. You can't win every race. You know, we try to, and we're pretty successful. We win quite a few races. So you feel like you should win every time, but you just can't do it.
Well, I mean, the other thing is, it's not like he got beat 15 lengths. He
No,
got
he
beat
didn't.
like
No,
two.
he didn't. Yeah, so I just draw a line through that race, and I know which direction he's heading, and it's the one we'd want to see him in, and he'll show up on Saturday.
What's the challenge in having two horses both at a big race like this, and you're trying to get them both prepared for this?
Well, it's really not a challenge. It's what we do. It's they're individuals. You treat each one individually and train them in that fashion. Just the only thing I worry about is if they get in each other's way in a race. That would be the only thing.
Would you like to work them in company if you could, because you don't have
Working. What was that?
like Concert Tour in company with a stablemate and Medina Spirit?
No, that's a totally different thing. We work our horses. Some horses need company, some horses don't work in company. Depending on what type of work we want, how far away from the race, how close to the race. So you just have to weigh all that into the situation and what determines company.
It's only a 10-horse field, but with Concert Tour on the outside there, is there a concern about, all the other speed being inside of him?
No, he's on the outside. He should be in a clean spot, I would imagine. And I can't see anyone getting in front of him from the outside.
Every horse that comes out of the Derby, you're looking at him to see, is there any signs of fatigue, or is there any signs of wear and tear on the horse? Have you seen anything like that with Medina?
With Medina, no. He had no wear and tear. Came out in excellent shape and moved right ahead forwardly. We only walked him 3 days, went right back to the track and jogged. And that's usually a sign how soon we get back to the track, or how happy we are with the way they're handling the recovery of the race.
Jimmy, 5 times you guys have come here with the Derby winner who's got a shot at the Triple Crown, and all 5 you've won. What do you attribute that success to?
Well, the Derby's the hardest race to get through to begin with. And to get here, I don't know. It seems like the horses that run well in the Derby really show up here, and at least every one of ours have. Looking back to, point given, they didn't win the Derby, but there was things developed in the Kentucky Derby that just didn't. He couldn't. It's not the style of race. He was too close on a hot pace, but came here, and showed that he was really a true champion. And looking at Lucky, the same thing. He, drew the one hole, and I was thinking to myself, how bad could this be? Until I was watching the feed from NBC, and they showed a head-on of the stretch, and my God, the one hole, you have to brake and navigate and get on the main track, and things didn't work out well for him, but he came out of that race great, and we marched up here, and he really showed up that day. That was pretty exciting.
In 2015, you guys came here. I think Baffert and Wayne Lucas are the only ones who have done it, where you're competing against yourself for the shot at the Triple Crown. When you had Dortmund with Pharaoh, and now you've got Concert Tour.
Right.
What is
you can't. I don't. I try not to worry about that. That's something Bob needs to worry about and talk to the owners about, and I just have to take care of the horses and make sure they get to the paddock in good shape and get saddled up, and then it's up to the jockeys. But sure, we want a Triple Crown every time, but if Concert Tour didn't get his chance in the Derby, so this is his chance to shine.
Jimmy, is it sort of the philosophy is if you're going to be the best in the country, you got to be the best in the barn too, and be able to prove that. So separate owners, like you said, you got to give them all.
Yeah, you got to give them all a fair shot, and the best horse will win.
The morning line favorite. When you're looking at the race, who do you think is his toughest competition? You're seeing him in the mornings.
I really haven't paid much attention. I'm focusing on my own horses. It's hard. We go to the track. We don't see much because there's not many out there at the same time that we are. I do see them walking in the shed, but right now I'm just basically focusing on our own stock here.
Sorry I got in a little late, but just how overall Medina Spirit's feeling?
How
you view him?
Couldn't be better. Like I said earlier, he came out of the Derby in fine shape, and he wasn't a tired horse. Rebounded quickly and shipped up here and handles the track very well. The weather's good, so I think everyone's going to have a fair chance at this, with it only being a 10-horse field. So I'm excited.
Jimmy, we've had times that the day after the Derby, Bob said, I don't know, the horse seems like he might be a little tired. I have to really see. And then by the time they get around a week and they work, then it's, let's get on the plane to Baltimore. In that regard, has this horse bounced back maybe even faster then? Because there was never any hesitation with this horse about coming to Baltimore.
No, I would say, yeah. I mean, Bob saw what he wanted to see, right after the race. So. Yeah.
He got such a good trip at the Derby. It was, with a 10 horse, and that's when, with 10, you feel like, all right, and where you're coming out of, the idea that's a good possibility for that again, right?
Medina, it was just, you need a little bit of luck, in this, especially in a 20-horse field. Fortunately, the horses broke, the inside and outside kind of broke a little bit away from him, and it just, the seas parted, and he just went right up to the front, and they didn't really challenge. They came up to him like coming to the wire, but then they kind of backed off him, and once they did that, his ears went up, and he got very comfortable.
And that's kind of easier in theory.
Well, it's easy. You'd want him running like that instead of in a head-and-head match, right, going into the first turn. So.
Well, and Todd Putcher said yesterday, in fact, on the backside, he said he saw those ears pricked. He said, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
Because it's all we're having to come.
And I thought they could have gone a lot quicker than they did. That was one of my only main concerns, how fast we were going to go early, because everyone was talking about speed. And the fractions were, moderate, but they finished strong and they finished fast.
Do we sometimes not give these horses enough credit for having the ability to do what take to win? That saying, well, he had the perfect trip, but maybe they had the talent to make the perfect trip.
Well, you definitely, the most essential thing of a great racehorse is speed and more speed, and that just keeps you out of trouble.
I mean, with Medina Spirit, they also talk about how he's never been passed. Does he have whatever that quality is?
Well, I don't know.
Whatever?
He's never been. I guess if you're on the lead and you haven't been passed, but
right.
Because a couple of races he sat off the
right.
horses, so
right.
That's probably not the way he really wants to run. But sometimes it's out of your control. You have, things develop in a race, and you're not on the lead.
Does he remind you of anyone, any other horse in particular?
He's a unique individual in his own. He's got a lot of heart. But you know, I don't like comparing really our horses to, because we've had so many champions, and you know, he's his own unique individual, and he's going to be a champion.
You missed this race last year when you were injured. I guess the October race. How nice is it just to be back here for you?
Yeah, well, Baltimore, you know, it's one of our favorite places to come. Everyone's so kind here, and you know, you're with everyone here in the stakes barn, so you get a chance to talk to everybody, people maybe you haven't seen in a while. So it's always fun coming up here.
But it is different this year, obviously. It was different last year too, but
It was different last
without
year.
Bob.
It's to be different every year. Yeah, but I came out of with my broken wrist in good shape. You know, took 6 months really to come back around, but you know, we're coming back quick because that was only in September, and on a normal deal it would have been, you know, I would have had a little more time in between. But
How different does it feel without Bob here?
you know, I'm used to it. You know, I travel all the time. I'm always on the road, and Bob's there sometimes. Great. If Bob can't make it, then you know, I just have to pick up the slack and you know, just march on and, you know, try to do my best and try to produce a win.